This is the article of the week, number 1, reading. Questions 1 through 9 are based on the following passage. The following passage is adapted from Charles Dickens' 1860 novel, Great Expectations. In this scene, the narrator, a boy named Pip, eats breakfast with his older sister's acquaintance, Mr. Pumblechook. Mr. Pumblechook has agreed to take Pip to see Mrs. Havisham, a wealthy woman who has requested this visit, although Pip has never met her. Mr. Pumblechook and I ate breakfast at 8 o'clock in the parlor behind the shop, while the shopman took his mug of tea and hunch of bread and butter on a sack of peas in the front premises. I considered Mr. Pumblechook wretched company. Besides being possessed by my sister's idea, a mortifying and penitential character ought to be imparted to my diet, besides giving me as much as crumb as possible in combination with a little butter, and putting such a quantity of warm water into my milk that it would have been more candid to have left the milk out altogether. His conversation consisted of nothing but arithmetic. On my politely bidding him good morning, he said pompously, 7 times 9, boy. And how should I be able to answer? Dodged in that way in a strange place on an empty stomach. I was hungry, but before I swallowed a morsel, he began running sum that lasted all through the breakfast. 7 and 4 and 8 and so on. And after each figure was disposed of, it was as much as I could to get a bite or a sup before the next came, while he sat at ease, guessing nothing, and eating bacon and a hot roll in, if I may be allowed the expression, a gorging and gourmandizing manner. For such reasons, I was very glad when 10 o'clock came and we started for Miss Havisham's, though I was not at all at my ease regarding the manner in which I would acquit myself under the lady's roof. Within a quarter of an hour we came to Miss Havisham's house, which was way of old brick and dismal, and had a great many iron bars to it. Some of the windows had been walled up. Of those that remained, all of the lower were rustily barred. There was a courtyard in front, and that was barred, and so we had to wait after ringing the bell until some should come to open it. While we waited at the gate, I peeped in. Even then, Mr. Pumblechook said, "And 14?" But I pretended not to hear him, and saw that at the side of the house there was a large brewery. No brewing was going on in it, and none seemed to be going on for a long time. A window was raised, and a clear voice demanded, "What name?" To which my conductor replied, "Pumblechook." The voice returned, "Quite right," and the window was shut again, and a young lady came across the courtyard with keys in her hand. "This," said Mr. Pumblechook, "is Pip." "This is Pip, is it?" returned the young lady, who was very pretty and seemed very proud. "Come on in, Pip." Next page. Mr. Pumblechook was coming in also when she stopped him at the gate. "Oh," she said, "did you wish to see Miss Havisham?" "If Miss Havisham wished to see me," returned Mr. Pumblechook, discomfited. "Ah," said the girl, "but you see she don't." And she said it so finally and in such an undiscussable way that Mr. Pumblechook, though in a condition of ruffled dignity, could not protest. But he eyed me severely as if I had done something to him, and departed with the words reproachfully delivered. "Boy, let your behavior here be a credit unto them which brought you here by hand." I was not free from apprehension that he would come back and propound through the gate. "And 16?" But he didn't. Number 1. According to the first paragraph, Pip's breakfast with Mr. Pumblechook is A. Eaten on the run, B. Small and poor quality, C. Better than Pip usually receives, or D. Carefully cooked and served. 2. As used in line 5, wretched nearly means A. Shameful, B. Deprived, C. Distressing, D. Heartbroken. 3. Based on the passage, it can be inferred that Mr. Pumblechook, A. has looked forward to his morning with Pip, B. is as uncomfortable as Pip is during breakfast, C. has known Pip and his sister for a very long time, or D. is indifferent to Pip's discomfort during breakfast. 4. What choice provides the best support for the answer to the previous question? A. Lines 1 through 4, Mr. Pumblechook and I, to premises. B. Lines 5 through 13, starting at besides, to arithmetic. C. Lines 46 to 47, to which my, to Pumblechook. Or D. Lines 62 to 64, she said to not protest. 5. What theme is communicated throughout the experiences of Pip the narrator? A. The world can be a puzzling and sometimes cruel place. B. Young people are misunderstood by their elders. C. Mean-spirited people deserve to be treated harshly. D, the favors one receives in life should be reciprocated. Number 6. Which of the following is true when Mr. Pumblechook leaves Pip at Mrs. Havisham's house? A, Pip is excited to finally meet Miss Havisham. B, Pip is nervous about being away from his sister for so long. C, Pip is relieved to be away from Mr. Pumblechook. Or D, Pip is anxious about spending time with the young lady who greets them. 7. Which choice best provides the best support for the answer to the previous question? A, lines 1 through 4. B, lines 45 through 46. C, lines 62 to 64. Or D, lines 68 to 71. 8. As used in line 63, condition most nearly means A, illness, B, prerequisite, C, state, D, limitation. 9. The function of the parenthetical comment in line 25 is to reveal that A, Pip is usually more polite in his references to others. B, Mr. Pumblechook appreciates gourmet food. C, Pip is very angered that his own breakfast is so meager. Or D, Mr. Pumblechook has no qualms about overeating in public.